Welcome into another Red Out podcast. Colonel Stewart here. Like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate you listening. We're going to talk some depressing WKU versus Liberty news. Or not, Jacksonville State. Then we're going to talk Liberty. We got a lot of news around the hill, so stick with us.
Hey, how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Where's your day, baby?
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
I'm not ashamed to admit in the past, I've needed a therapist. We all need someone, and it's a strong person who can admit it. I talked to my doctor, who referred me to a therapist, and I really didn't have much say as to who the therapist was. But with this episode's sponsor, Betterhelp, you do. You can filter out who you would like to talk to, age, gender, religion, and more to pair you with the person who works best for you. And if the person isn't exactly who you were wanting, you're not stuck. You can switch counselors. BetterHelp strives to offer affordable, professional, and accessible online therapy. So go to betterhelp.com/redout today to save 10%. By doing this, you not only support us, you can work toward a brighter, healthier you. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
Yes, thank you to BetterHelp. If you use our affiliate link, betterhelp.com/redout, you will save 10%, and you'll also help out the channel, so we appreciate your support. Again, there was a little mix-up on the article coming out through the Towel Rack announcing the podcast, so if you don't want to miss an episode, make sure you're subscribed, and that way you won't miss an episode whenever there's a mix-up. So, I guess I'm going to start off with Betcha, which, by the way, I blame Matt for this because he set me up.
Oh.
Dude, I lost everything. Everything I bet on this weekend, I lost. And I should have known, like, going into Western on Tuesday, which that is the worst thing ever. And of course, like, payday, I was like, I'll put my money out, put a couple. I usually do it in $10 increments. I don't do anything major.
Mm-hmm.
But I did a $10 for the money line for Western and over points. And then I did $10 for Western and under. And it would have paid out like, I think total payout was like $30, and the other one was like $20, maybe 25. So it's not any, I'm not breaking the bank by my gambling here, but it was like, are you serious? And then of course, Western lost. But what I'm getting at is with my bets, I had a parlay I made up with Tennessee and Texas A&M. Of course, I said Tennessee winning, and I said over points, which points were like 50. And that was the most stagnant defensive game in the history of the world. And then, of course, the other part of that was Oregon-Washington.
No. Yeah.
Which, by the way, that was a close game for a little bit, I think. But Washington ended up winning, I think by a touchdown or two. I'd have to look up the score, but
point is, you lost your bet.
I lost several bets. Yes. But those were kind of the major ones. Yeah, they beat Oregon 36-33. Yeah, but I lost that bet, and then I lost that one, and then I lost. I had a late night parlay on Saturday night that started with Kentucky and Missouri. And I bet that it was part of the parlay was Kentucky, and then there was a couple other things, but Kentucky ended up losing, so it screwed up the whole thing anyway, so it didn't matter. So,
Devin.
So screw Kentucky, Tennessee, you suck at offense. Oregon, just quit. And then Western,
freaking ducks.
We'll talk about that god awful mess later. But anyway, so yes, those were some of my bets that I had over the weekend. Did you have anything, Matt, or were you being good?
Oh, I was a good boy. I didn't actually put my money on the
Anything?
tops because I have
Smart.
wisdom. I have seen this team, and I know don't freaking bet on a single thing, you do
Well,
not count on it.
honestly, I mean, you wouldn't have made a lot of money, but I think if you'd have bet under on points, you'd have been okay.
Yeah, I did. I was listening back actually right before we got on, and I did say that I kind of leaned towards the under if you were gonna have to pick over under.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it happened, but it's just frustrating. I wish I would have been wrong. Like I wish that we would have seen that offensive explosion and
Well,
blow them
I
out.
mean,
That's what should have happened.
and even we talked about it last week on the show specifically that Jacksonville was a late game charging team, and that's what happened.
Yep.
That fourth quarter, man, they had the momentum shifted to them, and you could watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And Western was just stagnant. There's tons of other descriptive words I can use right now, but it was just not pretty whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it, I think, a little later. But man,
yes,
yeah, I question. I think it's a chemistry issue. It just kind of feels like nothing's clicked into place yet. I don't know if it's coaches versus players or if it's just injuries that kind of taken out the rhythm of the season. I don't know, but man, it seems like it takes so much for Western to get up on its feet and go after something. It's just kind of like they're just there.
Yeah, and it's really frustrating. And just making a couple notes here, but they it's really frustrating. But like you said, we're going to get into it in a little bit real quick. I want to talk about some different news around the Hill. Let's talk. First off, I'm just going to kind of shoot right through this. Lady Top or men's golf actually wrapped up the fall season with a big win at the Xavier Invitational. 3 Hilltoppers finished in the top 5, and it's the first win for Coach King as the Hilltopper golf head coach. Katie Craig is named the Conference USA Golfer of the Week for the third time this season. This is her 4th Golfer of the Week nomination. And the Lady Top golf team was the runner-up in the Pat Bradley Invitational. Of course, Miss Craig was in the top 5 throughout the Invitational, and she finished. The tops actually finished higher than some couple schools you may know, Cincinnati and FIU. So, way to go, Lady Tops. Soccer news.
I'm just proud of you for being able to say Katie Craig's name. That's really well done.
I actually. I'm like Rain
practicing?
Man. I do Rain Man. I sit in the bathroom and just stare at myself and say it. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Nope, just kidding. Completely kidding.
Katie, if you're listening, sorry.
God, no, I do not. I'm sorry. Soccer news. We've got Amber Barnett was named Conference USA Defensive Player of the Week. Miss Barnett has earned Conference USA Player of the Week 3 times in her career. Maddie Davis earned Conference USA Goalkeeper of the Week. This is her first award. She has a .929 goals against average.
Wow.
Which is the 3rd best in the league. I mean, that's 92% of, I'm guessing stops. So that's awesome. She has 7 clean sheets, which I'm assuming is the no goals allowed.
I hope so.
Well, or she's got a lot of sheets. This season, she added 2 of those against Sam Houston and La Tech in the past week. So the Lady Tops are moving with those wins. They're moving into Conference USA tournament play. They're currently 4th. The lowest they can finish right now is 5th, and the highest, obviously, is 1st. They will be playing Liberty this next Saturday, on the 21st at 5 p.m. There is no football game, so you can go support the Lady Tops.
Right, go to Liberty and support them.
Yeah, they'll be playing. Yeah, they'll be playing Liberty, so go there. And then the final home match game, whatever set, will be against New Mexico State on Friday the 27th at 6 p.m. Okay, so this is always what messes with me. Lady Topper, or specifically soccer stuff on the sports website, on WKU Sports' page, they always say league. Anywhere else, it says conference. And you're just like, it's it's a conference. I mean, I get like soccer stuff. It's typically a league, but it's like it's Conference USA. But anyway,
Is it League USA?
It's yes, it would be LUSA. Yes,
Lusa.
Lusa. Yeah.
Maybe we
Lady
need to
Topper.
change it.
Lady Topper basketball has announced their broadcasting schedule. That will be. I'm not going to go into the specifics of it because obviously they play several games, but uh, every WKU home or regular season game will be broadcast or streamed in some form or fashion. The February 24th game against the Mutts will be on ESPNU, and that's how I put it in my show notes. And all other home games will be on ESPN Plus. And as I said, we will update weekly as to how to watch it, listen, or whatever to that. My final kind of note here before we start talking football, because this is going to be probably most of the episode, is Hilltopper Hysteria. Now, just a reminder, because we talked about it last week, Hilltopper Hysteria is next Thursday, 10/26 at 6:30 p.m. at EA Diddle Arena. If you go to the Houch, you're in the wrong spot. The dance team will perform. There will be a mixed team skills challenge for both teams. There is a shooting stars competition and a 3-point contest. That's kind of cool. The event will conclude with autographs on the main court. Admission is free for fans and open to the public. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. Fans can get involved in the Shooting Stars competition by submitting an application form. And I have the application link, and it will be in our show notes or the episode description. So if you all, it'll link you to the WKU Sports page, and you can get it from there. You can go into the WKU Sports page and get it from there. So there's that. Oh, that only took 12 minutes.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, by the way, volleyball. Just
I miss volleyball. Go on.
Okay. No, man. I was just gonna say they're back in the top 25. We talked about last week how they had fallen out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and they did. I was just checking. It was on my mind. And they are back in the top 25 and have a 50-point cushion on Minnesota at 26. So hopefully they'll kind of stay in the polls, win out the rest of the year, and maybe we can try to squeeze into a 16 seed. But we'll see if we can climb that high.
Yeah. Well, I forgot that. So
throw it all away.
That
You're
away.
fired.
Go away. My
I'll take it from here.
Yep, I'm gonna go take a drink. No. So yeah, Western. I know we were texting back and forth during the game. It was not pretty. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was we had some good moments, but even when we scored, I did not feel like the team was clicking well.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. There were moments that Western did really well. There were moments that Western did not. Whether we can allocate those to injuries or, cohesion or play calling, when you're not doing well, it is easy to point fingers and say it's this or that or this or that. But, basically, Coach Helton and the staff are going to have to sit down and figure out what's going on, and we're going to have to get things moving. Now, is Western hypothetically, are we just not able to find our offensive identity? Is that what's going on? Because you can't take a Mustang and take it mudding. You cannot take a Ford Mustang car and go mudding. You can, and the same is true for a we'll say a Chevy Silverado. You can't take it to a drag strip and think you're going to beat, sports cars. So, what is our identity? What are we missing? Matt, what are your thoughts on the game for Jacksonville at least?
Yeah, I don't know, man, because it started out okay. Obviously, the first quarter, you're up 10-0. You're moving the ball, you're doing things, and you look like you're pretty well in control. And even at halftime, you're up, 17-10. At one point, you're up 17-7. It's just you feel pretty good. I mean, obviously Jacksonville State is like I saw people saying that Jacksonville State is garbage or whatever. It's like they're 6-2, and they've
Yeah,
played.
Yeah,
I don't buy that crap at all. I think they're
nope.
a quality team. They're well coached.
Yeah,
I mean,
if they only had the budget.
yeah, blame the budget. But I mean, seriously, it's baffling. I don't know what to exactly point it to or who to necessarily blame, but I will say that from the beginning of the season, I've questioned it on here as well as just like in general conversation, whatever. I've questioned it seems like it takes a while to get this team fired up. Like it just takes them getting poked 1,000 times before they finally get up and be like, "Who stop that?" Like they're just sitting there taking it. And I think you could just see it when Jacksonville State started getting some momentum and stuff. They were all over, jumping around and acting crazy, and Western's just kind of like, okay, well, here we go, and we're just going to go pass the ball, and it's just kind of going through the motions, and it's like, this is not how you win sports in general, but especially football. Like you got to be fired up if you're going to go in there and take something from somebody who really wants it. Like you got to mean it.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's been a concern all year. Plus you got these injuries. I mean, it's really piled up. Honestly, we've had multiple starters out on both sides of the ball all year. And so it takes away some of your opportunity, but you got to deal with what you got. And I think they just get ahead and then kind of pucker up and forget.
Coast.
Say what?
Coast. I think
just kind of exactly. Go through the motions, and I mean, to me that just continues to perpetuate the idea that this team isn't playing for each other. For whatever reason, like I know we have good guys on the team, like there are a lot of good people in there, and all that. It's not like they're bad people or something.
Yeah.
But like sometimes certain teams just don't have quote unquote it. They don't have that thing that they need to be as good as they could be, regardless of how talented they are or whatever. They just underachieve because for some reason they're just not clicking into place. And, I'm sure it's a brotherhood and all that, but like the real, like you love going and doing everything you ever do with anybody on that team. I mean, Devin, we had some special times, and there were also times that it was kind of tense and it was kind of awkward within the locker room. And so I
thought you were talking about just you, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely made it awkward. But yeah, I mean, that's just what it feels like to me. It just feels like something's off, and you can't put your finger on it, but it just kind of stinks of not gelling together.
My thought is, and I mean, I may not be right or not, but is I heard the announcers make a statistic last night that, and I can't remember exactly the number of players they said, but there were several, probably over half are portal players. They're portal transfers from Coach Helton's portal wizardry. But like my issue is I mean, maybe that's part of it. Maybe these guys are, hey, what do I need to do this or that for when, I may or may not, I'm not going to be here next year, or, whatever. It's, hey, I'm not going to be here. Why do I need to do this? Why do I need to do that? And if that's the case, then, I mean, that's going to be a lot of issue. Now, on that flip side, it could just be injuries. We're just not having, we just don't have person A in the right position because, we don't have the personnel. Like Malachi Corley, he's getting, I know Austin tried to throw several shots to him the other night, or I say other night, the last night, and as we record on Wednesday, but he took several shots at Malachi Corley, and some of those were open and some of those weren't. And I think part of the problem is we just don't have the other targets to throw to. Where, if we had, of course, I can't even think of some of the guys off the top of my head that are on the injured list, but, I think Blue Smith, is he still on the injured list or is he cleared?
He posted something on Twitter and was basically like, "Oh, I thought it was my choice." So he was upset about something probably to do with whether he was allowed to play or not, is what it seemed like.
Yeah.
But that just kind of highlights the what's going on kind of question. But I mean, him, and then if you think about it, even Corley. I mean, obviously Corley was out a game and a half. Dalvin Smith was out a couple games. None of our receivers, except Easton Messer, has played in every game, and he got nicked up this game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your top 6 or 7 guys have all been injured in the receiver corps, at least. That's tough to overcome, no matter how deep you are or whatever. And Western's shown enough depth to be able to function and not be an awful passing offense. But it's definitely something that has played a factor.
Well, okay. Now, towards the beginning of the year, Malachi Corley's, I'll say stats, he had a lot higher average for yards per carry, and his longest was a lot further. But last night against Jacksonville State, he had 6 receptions for 47 yards, averaging 7.8, with his longest being 15 yards. So either he's just not able to get downfield, which I'm not saying he's unconditioned or anything like that. My thought is that I'm guessing he's getting double covered.
Oh, yeah. They were
I'm sure
all over him.
Yeah.
And they were forcing other people to beat him.
Yeah.
So
Matt and I had a little disagreement about this, and I said he was being ridiculous. He said I was being impartial. But anyway, I just say that the refs were not making enough calls as far as, pass interference. And this is where I'm going to use to back up my thing. And this could be ESPN too, because this just seems like a complete typo. It said Western had 1 penalty for 6 yards. What in the flip is a 6-yard penalty? On the flip side, Jacksonville State had 2 penalties for 13 yards.
Yeah, okay, they didn't call very many penalties. Yeah, that's
2 penalties for 13 yards. Who the hell is doing the math in Alabama is what I want to know. Because they're 5, 10, 15. They're not 6. Jesus. Oh, people. Take a breath. But yeah, that's in my show notes too, just because I was like, what the flip is this?
Lord.
Musa Berry.
Devin, can I shed some light for you, bud?
Shed some light, please.
Okay. When you have spot fouls, sometimes they're not full 10 yards. So they might be
touche. I got you.
One was
because that one was there was one. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. One of those was a pass interference, and I didn't remember the yard line. But you're right. Yeah, that's right.
So that's how you get those odd numbers.
Yes, you are correct, sir. But I was just sitting here and I'm like, they're 5, 10, and 15. What in the flip is he talking about? But I will say, and I don't know if you remember this play or not, when they threw to Musa Berry, and I was like, all right, we're going to get a little momentum back. And dude got hit, and I swear it looked like one of those little comedy reels where, where like the ball shoots out of his hands. From the first vantage point, it looked like that ball went straight up about 30 yards. I'm just saying. Did it not, dude? Tell me I didn't. I thought, dude, when they hit him and it flew up in the air like that, I thought they're going to pick it and run to the house. Luckily, they didn't, but it was still like, what the flip? But we're kind of down talking some of the guys tonight. But the defensively, I thought we did really well.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, but no, I was just going to say, of course, Austin Reed had a fumble. All right, dude, go away. Austin Reed had a fumble, and then, of course, on defensively, Marshall Jackson recovered one. So I guess those offset, right? And then Anthony Johnson. Let's see. Austin Reed fumbled, if I'm not mistaken. And then Anthony Johnson, or maybe it was a turnover on downs. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
hold on.
But then Anthony Johnson got the interception right after that and kind of put us right back in it.
Right. So what happened was Reed fumbled and recovered his own fumble on that one
Correct.
play.
Yes.
And then Reed threw an interception, and Corley came, and they returned it a little bit. Then Corley came in and stripped it, and then Marshall Jackson recovered the fumble. Marshall Jackson's one of the offensive tackles, came in and recovered the ball, and then restarted the drive.
That's right. Yes.
So that it was the two turnovers were two of the turnovers that were forced by each team were on the same play. So it ended up basically it was like a resetting the downs at the 40 for WKU.
Okay. Did I miss? I must have missed something, and it could have been when I was trying to get my daughter to lay down. I have no idea. Did Austin Reed punt?
He did. Yeah.
Oh my God, he got a 37-yard punt. Awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God, I was about to get pissed because it was like 4th and 8, and we were on our side of the field, and I'm like, what is he doing? He's gonna do this crap. And then I noticed that Austin was like, 7-8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I'm like, oh, okay, they're gonna punt it. But I also don't understand why you didn't just punt it. But whatever.
No, you know what that was. You know what that was. That was Helton. He's putting that out there on film so that Liberty or whoever else that we've got after this is going to be like, okay, so this kid can still punt. Like, even if it's 4th down and whatever, we don't need to necessarily just put everybody in the box. We're going to have to at least play this like it's a punt. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess, but like,
I got to keep them honest.
It wasn't believable though. Like, it wasn't. It's like, come on. I mean, I was
okay. It goes the same. Okay, it's the same thing when, let's say, when Austin Reed goes under center and it's like 4th and an inch. Everybody in the whole flipping stadium knows exactly what's about to happen. It's like you cannot
scream to Corley.
Exactly. Yes, scream to Corley. No, we do that on 3rd and 19. So there you go.
Right. Yeah. I mean, seriously, it's not a given. You think it should be Austin Reed running up the middle. That's part of the problem.
Well, okay, and that was the other thing is it's 3rd and 19, and it may have been just the progression. I don't know. I can't really say because I don't have a playbook. But when it's 3rd and 19, you think you've at least got some verticals, some curls, some something. You don't have a screen to the flats.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I get that, sometimes that works, 1st, 2nd down, whatever, but it's like not on 3rd and long, dude. You got to get to the sticks.
Yeah.
Of course, Zion Webb, that kid is dangerous.
Yeah.
He's not a passing quarterback though. He can pass. He can pass. However, if you had to look at it, and in my perspective, he's a run quarterback. He can gun, but he's more of a run quarterback. At least in my eyes. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, he was very impressive, and I do think, to be fair to our team, there were some comments from Jacksonville State that were basically like, y'all got to see the best Zion Webb version there is, because they were like, he definitely was on Tuesday night. So maybe we just kind of ran into a buzzsaw there where he just played out of his mind. But the he's an athlete, and it's always dangerous when you can run. It's what happened with the USF quarterback is a good example. Obviously, we had an offense that showed up and kept USF from accomplishing their goals and winning the game, which we have not in the second half the last couple games. So there's your difference. But the guy was able to run all over Western's defense, especially as we started to wear down. And he can pass enough that you can't just load the box and play gap control against him. Like he can pass the ball. I think he has over 5,000 career passing yards, so he's not a complete scrub throwing the football. He can throw.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to respect that. And it's a pretty lethal combination when he's, if he can throw 55, 60% with his skill set, that's good enough to create problems for your defense.
Yeah, and like you're saying, I'm not saying that he can't throw the ball by any means or anything like that, but my thought is that his running game is the threat, because he's very elusive, he's very quick, he had a couple of reads that were kind of but he did really well overall, with his RPO reads, and he's going to be a pretty good quarterback. Is he going to make it to the pros? I don't know, but he's pretty good. Well, I'm not saying no, because they could move him to wide receiver or another position to and that happens, and hey, so be it. I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head, but he played for New England. Dude looked like he was homeless at Lowe's. What's his name? I cannot think of it off the top of my head. But he, yes. But yes, he played quarterback in college. What was his name? Amendola? Danny Amendola?
Yeah.
Yeah, towards the end of his career, he looked like he was a homeless guy at Lowe's. But yeah, I'll stand by that. I was actually watching a show with my father today called it's called Special Forces. It's on Fox. My dad's former military, so he loves all that stuff.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And they take celebrities and they put them through Special Forces training. Dude, I have not seen Tara Reid in God knows how many years. She looks like those naked cats. Have you seen those cats that are just like no fur? That's what she looks like. Or
was she the druggie?
I think she's been dipped in a lot of drugs. Yeah, sure. But
we watched that show. I'm
she also and another analogy to represent her is like every lady at a gas station in the U.S. What she looks like, sounds like. No joke. She got caught on the first episode of the show with 3 packs of cigarettes. It was like,
oh yeah, that was her. Yeah.
Yep. Yes. So so we're watching the same show. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah. I thought the defense played really well against Jacksonville. I thought, of course, towards the end, I think they were getting tired. Time of possession was what killed Western a lot. Western ended up, I don't have this in my show notes, but Jacksonville State ended up with 33 minutes of possession time, where Western had 26. Yeah, a lot of it was second half, yeah. So, I didn't notice a lot of guys going down for cramps or anything like that, but which would show, issues with conditioning or whatever. But the guys did. I thought the defense played really well. I thought they, gave a lot of effort. But at the end, if you're the only one trying, it's hard to want to keep playing and give it 100% effort when the offense is struggling.
Yeah,
that's my thoughts. But
yeah, I hear you, man. There's a couple things I wanted to talk about that really stuck in my mind as like kind of what are we doing here? So there was the 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 1.5, whatever, at our own 49, and we're up 17-10 near the end of the third quarter.
Okay.
And we decided that we're gonna run Marquise Step on a long 1 or short 2 or whatever. He doesn't get it. They get the ball at the Western 50-yard line.
Yeah, I
I
remember that
couldn't.
play.
I mean, number one, he got bailed out because Anthony Johnson intercepted it. But even so, it's still. I mean, it created some field position issues. But let's say that Jacksonville State took that, and then I mean they could have they needed 20 yards to cut the lead to 4, or they only needed 50 to go get a touchdown in a game that has been a complete trudge match, especially the whole quarter, and even like once WKU got up 17-7, the scoring really really slowed down. There's only 3 more points scored for over a quarter,
Yeah,
and you go for it on 4th and a long one. It just felt like kind of a panic moment, and there's been a few of those that Tyson's gone for this year that I don't think have been characteristic of what he's really done most of his time here. And I don't
yeah,
know why this year it's been a thing, but that was one that's just like, what are you doing? That is so. I mean, just punt the ball. Ellard's
yeah,
been punting well. He's been putting it inside the 20 this game. Just punt the ball and get it down. I mean, even if he shanks it and it goes to the 25, you're better off than going for it on 4th and a long 2 at midfield. That was
yeah.
insane.
I think I do think you're right in that instance, especially in that play. And I don't know how much of it was Coach Helton and how much of it, I don't know what he was seeing there. Of course, you're up by 7. If you punt it away, your defense is still doing really well, and you also keep the defense from, metaphorically having their backs against the walls.
Right.
So I'm agreeing with you that you would think 80 yards is a lot better than 50, 40, whatever, to try and keep them out. I can't justify that. It was to not get it was very frustrating. I thought the refs were very biased. I'm just saying they should have measured that anyway.
Well, I mean, there was some stuff like that, but ultimately, it's on WKU, and you could kind of feel it, kind of almost like gnawing down on WKU or something. Like it just kind of kept um, being more and more concerning. Like if you look at the drives in the second half, um, the first drive, whatever, it was 3 plays for Jacksonville State, but then WKU has 3 plays and gets 2 yards. Then Jacksonville State goes and runs 5 minutes and 41 seconds off the clock, goes 56 yards in 16 plays, and gives it up on downs. Western goes 4 plays, 17 yards. Jacksonville State goes 5 plays. WKU did go 6 plays in 1 drive. But Jacksonville State just seemed to get a few more plays in each drive, and eventually it just kind of wore Western down. And then they made their hay with the touchdown late and then the field goal. Which, by the way, on the last drive, I don't know what you thought of the timeouts and stuff. Did you think about that, or did you see that on Twitter?
Yeah,
What do you think?
I saw your comment about the
On the
timeouts. Well, I think Helton knew. I think Helton knew that it was what the design was. That they were trying to do that, but we just couldn't get the stop. If you can't get a stop to keep them from that first down, then your timeouts are useless. That's the design of calling those timeouts, is to kind of hold them off. And if you get that stop, then you've got, a minute, 30 seconds, 45 seconds there. But the defense wasn't cooperating,
Yeah, let me see, because I hadn't had a chance to go back and look at this. So, 2nd and 1 with 1:25 left, we call timeout.
Okay.
They're at the Western 24. Here's my thing. Okay, the clock's running. It's 2nd and 1. What good does it do for you to call timeout 2nd and 1? They're going to get another first down.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah.
So why not force them, if they want to burn a timeout, let them burn a timeout or something. They're still in let's go score a touchdown mode. So you might get them to screw this up, maybe you can get them to where they get inside the 10, and then you have all 3 timeouts, and then you can call timeouts, and whether they score or whether they kick a field goal, you got time left on the clock to go down and try to score again.
Yeah, I mean,
that was my thought.
Well, okay. So the first timeout at 125 right there, that was justified because it was 2nd and 10, and then of course they called timeout, and then they got first down right there. So okay,
well, it was 2nd and
right
1.
after
We called timeout on 2nd and 1.
Yeah. That was later. That was a little bit. That was the next play. Because they've got 2nd and 10 at the Jacksonville State 44-yard line. They started the play at 2:32. We called timeout at 1:25. And then of course, then they get the first down, and then we made a stop. Apparently they ran for 9. We got the stop. We called timeout. 2nd and 1. I agree. But hypothetically, if we got the stop there, it's 3rd and whatever. And so your possibility of getting that turnover is okay, but then after they get the first down, you call the next time out, and I just don't get that. Now on the flip side, Jacksonville State called 2 extra timeouts to try and get it where Western had no chance of coming back, and they did a really good job of metaphorically choking us out because that's what they did.
Yeah, well, that was my issue with those timeouts because. All right, 2nd and 1, they're almost certainly, no matter what they do, they're probably going to get a first down. So you're only at the 24, like that's still a long field goal. So it's a long enough field goal that it's not just guaranteed they're going to make it.
Yeah.
So let them run the clock for that play and see what happens. If you get a loss on 3rd down, or if it really is 3rd and 1, then okay, maybe then you can call timeout. But let the clock run. Yeah. So they get a first down. If you hadn't called that timeout, it maybe you've got 40 seconds on the clock, okay? Say it's 40 seconds. I don't know.
Okay. That's what I'll say.
Okay. Thank you. So let's say they run the ball 3 straight times, or maybe they even try to pass it or whatever. But say you call a timeout every time once they run the ball after that, and you get them on a 4th down, which is what ended up happening. Ended up being 4th and 16. If you had used the timeouts on those 3 downs, you would have had maybe 20, 25 seconds left. Then they kick the field goal, and then you get the ball back, and you have a chance to go down and either win the game or possibly find some kind of way to kick a field goal. But you burn the timeout too early on a useless 2nd and 1 where they're going to get a first down. And then you're without... You have no leverage the rest of the game. Like, they're going to be able to run it out if they want to, or if they want to continue to try to drive the ball, they can. And that's what they did, is they just positioned themselves to be able to kick the field goal, and then they won with no time left.
Yeah, I mean, we can speculate all day, but it's kind of shoulda, woulda, coulda, so to speak.
Anyway,
and at the end of the day, Helton's head is the one that it falls on. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, so to speak, for the head coach at least. But I can't say one way or another if this was his speculation as to, hey, we need to call these timeouts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Ultimately, yes, it probably wouldn't have mattered. But
well, I mean, at the end of the day, it falls on him. But it is mismanagement. But
excuse me, sorry.
They're human just like the rest of us. So I mean, if you're going to call those timeouts and you're going to run that play on the 50, I mean, my thing is what I don't get is the need to run that play on the 50. If the roles are reversed, I might understand a little bit better, but I don't understand it when you're up 7.
Yeah, exactly. You're handing them a short field, giving them momentum.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, we keep beating the dead horse, but I'm hoping to look towards semi-cloudy futures. Next week we are playing Liberty, which they have actually received. I saw some updates the other day. They are getting some votes for top 25 because they're still undefeated. So, congratulations to them, I guess. But
Woo-hoo.
Yeah. Woo! Another Tuesday
But-
game to look forward to.
I mean, honestly, though, like, I know we just complained for half an hour about this, but honestly,
Pretty much,
sorry, y'all
yeah.
had to hear that crap. But honestly, like, I hope that Bowling Green, surrounding counties, whatever, I hope people show up and come to this game because ultimately, even though we just peed our pants 2 games in a row and lost one of them,
Shot the bed.
yeah, crapped ourselves, whatever, however you want to call it.
Diarrhea
We're
down
sitting
the
here. If we can beat Liberty at home, which is it's not outrageous. It will be a
Nope.
slight underdog, but
Marshall, a few years back, but
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
mean seriously, like whatever. Get fired up. Screw all the loss that just happened. Guess what? If Western wins out, we host a conference championship game. So get over all the BS. And we just moped for 30 minutes, and I hope you enjoyed it. But now it's time to get fired up about Liberty because the Tops have an opportunity to take back control of the standings, to right all these wrongs and get back on track. And beating Liberty in any way would do that. So show up on Tuesday and let's cheer on the Tops and let's see if we can pull out a victory.
Yeah, I agree. Or you just jump ship and start cheering for Louisville. But it's up to you.
Yep, no.
Completely messing with you. Just because, yeah, mutual friend. Anyway,
thing.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, Liberty's going to be a tough team. But like you said, Top show up. Bowling Green surrounding South Central Kentucky shows up. This could be a different story. Crowds do play into games. I saw the other day. I don't know if I sent you that. I send you a lot of TikToks, but anyway, the
I haven't
ref
seen them in about a year, buddy.
was that was that ESPN or maybe it was on Instagram or something where the referee called out the I don't even know what the term was that he used, but basically like the media people for playing music while the team had the ball, the other team had the ball. It was like, seriously? Of course, they were like, they're getting ready to snap the ball and they were start playing music and stuff. And he's like, if you do it again, I will throw an unsportsmanlike conduct against Colorado. And I don't know if that was the Colorado Stanford game or what, but I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, like, seriously though, like Western can totally, fans totally play into it. Look at Oregon with the 12th man and, other teams like that. So, I mean, Western can play into it. Yeah, it's not as big a stadium as Oregon, but we can totally do this. It's going to be 7:30 p.m. next Tuesday, October 24th on ESPNU. So bring your kids out, let them watch the game. Screw school nights. Nobody's worried about that anyway. And
yeah, I mean, America's slipping. We're not even in the top 25 in education. So why?
Yeah, why
further
keep
it?
going? Just take them to football
Let's
games.
just
It's more
plummet.
important anyway. Yeah. So just kind of looking at numbers here, Western is averaging 382 total yards, 282 passing, 100 yards rushing, which, by the way, I'm kind of happy with the 100 yards average rushing. Just saying. But we are allowing 463 yards allowed, 259 passing, 203 rushing. This is the stat that messes with me. The next one right here. 30 points per game, and we allow 27.7 points per game. So we got about 3 difference. Now, here's a team that's about to be in the top 25 if they beat us, I'm assuming, and probably finish out the season. Liberty.
Watch your foul mouth.
487.9 total yards, 213 passing, 274 rushing, 331.4 yards allowed, 214 passing, 117 rushing, 36.28 points per game, 19.71 points allowed per game. That is wild to me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you look at them statistically, they're pretty solid, and you don't really see a whole lot of places that they're weak. But they also have not played a super strong schedule. And I think when you look at the eye test, Liberty is not that much better than WKU. And WKU is still yet to play up to its potential. So I do think if WKU can show up and play a true full game, then I think Western will be right there at the end. And possibly, if Western really played up to its full potential, would definitely beat Louisville, would definitely beat Liberty. The problem is, I think that it's a big hole to climb out of when you haven't scored in the second half in 2 games. But
Yeah.
if we can play up to what we're capable of, you have the pieces. You have receivers that can catch. You have running backs that are capable. You have a quarterback that led the nation in passing. You have an offensive line that's given up 4 sacks all year. I mean, you've got some pieces, and you got a defense that has been getting much stronger the last 3 weeks or so versus the rest of the season. Yeah, they gave up a bunch of yards last week, but that was also because the offense wasn't doing its job and keeping them off the field ever.
Well, I will say, I didn't think about that until you just said that. I don't remember very many sacks last week on Reed. Or
there was
last
one.
game. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's awesome.
4 sacks. Y'all realize the Tops are on pace to give up about 7 sacks for the whole season. That's like
crazy.
That will lead the country if that happens. I'm pretty sure. I haven't looked at the stats, but usually there are only a couple teams that may be keeping under 10 sacks in a season. WKU's had some legendary offensive lines that gave up like 12 or 14 sacks. Mm-hmm. If we give up 7 sacks in a year, that's an incredible performance. And I think Austin Reed deserves a lot of credit for being able to slide around the pocket because it's not always been a perfect pocket. But 4 sacks through 7 games is incredible. And it's a huge factor for why WKU maybe doesn't look its best, but has still been in a lot of games and had chances, even though we've lost a couple. I mean, he's been keeping it clean and hardly gets hit. And it's a huge factor for how, WKU has done as well as it has, despite an offense that doesn't get 400 yards a game.
Yeah. I will say we did have a member of our little group say that hot take was that Austin Reed is an average quarterback. What do you think about
that? He definitely hasn't been as accurate this year. I still think he's an above average quarterback. I mean, if you want to look at statistics nationally, which I don't have pulled up, so, but I guarantee you that he's near the top. And here's my issue with saying that he's an average quarterback. If you look at his numbers, his percentages have come way down, and he's not throwing as well as he was, and that's 100% accurate that he's not as good as he was last year, at least so far. But I think also his receivers have let him down time and time again, and that includes Corley. I mean, Corley had 3 or 4 drops this last game. I remember Easton Messer had a big drop that would have given us a first down. River Helms had one a few games ago. And then Musa Berry possibly has a touchdown this last game and just bobbles the ball. I mean, he was wide open, and Austin put it right about where he needed to. I mean, at least within a couple feet of perfection, and he drops the ball. There's a lot of that you have to factor in when you look at Austin's numbers. So I'd say hogwash that he's just completely average. But yeah, he's not at this point, he's not all conference level. But he's an above average quarterback still, even though he hasn't lived up to his potential this year.
Okay. So I'll let you say all that. And I do agree with you. If you don't have targets, it doesn't matter, who's throwing the ball. Tom Brady could not compete, if you don't have targets to throw to, or if they can't catch it. What are you going to do? But I'm on a website right now called collegefootballnetwork.com. And I just typed in top college football quarterback rankings 2023. This came out October 17th. So this came out yesterday morning. out of 131 quarterbacks, what would you say? I'll just give you a range. You just give me a range. Where do you think Austin Reed is? I'll say, okay, here you go. We'll go 1 through 20, 21 to 40, 41 to 60, 61, yada, yada, yada. Where do you think?
What is this based on? Is it like just QB rating or what?
Yards, touchdowns, interceptions, completions, yards per attempt. I mean, that's just what they've got so far.
Okay. I don't know. He's probably barely above middle of the pack would be my guess.
13th.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude is 13th in the country. He's right behind the Texas quarterback, Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
And he's right above Liberty's quarterback. They have him ranked in Conference USA number 1 of 9 quarterbacks. I guess number 1 of 9 starting quarterbacks teams.
There you go.
He has not changed. He's got 1,600 yards for the season, 14 TDs, 3 interceptions, 61% completion. He's doing really well. I think he's struggling in some things, but I think it's targets. When you hit a dude in the chest with the ball and it goes flying 45 yards into the air, I think that could be an issue. Honestly, like,
were you talking about Craig Burt? Is that what you were talking about earlier? Where he caught it, like it touched his hands and it hit his foot and went straight up in the air?
Was that Burt? I thought that was Musa.
I think it was Burt.
Okay, I thought it was Musa, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, 18 to 19. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's seriously, it like shot up in the air and it was like, what in the flip?
Okay.
Honestly, this is me. I mean, if I was Reed, I'd want to pull his butt after practice, and I'm gonna chuck him at your face as hard as I can, and you're gonna catch him. I mean, it sounds bad, but that's what you have to do. You've got to do some extra practice. You got to get we've got to get the basics down. If you cannot catch a pass just standing there with me chucking it at you, how do you expect to catch it, when it's 4th and 1?
I catch it one hand out the jugs, man.
Yeah. But when it's, for instance, if it's 3rd and 10, we're at the goal line, 3rd and goal. We've got to get this score. You have got to catch this ball. I don't care how many people are in your way. That's your ball. You go get it. That's how it works. I will say, side note, Michael Penix Jr. is rated number 1. Penix. I will say, I did see where Game Day was making fun of his name too.
Did you
see that video? I don't know the guy's name but he was talking about Washington, and he's like, Penix, and I'm like, yes.
Was it former kicker from the Colts?
No, it was not Pat McAfee for once.
Okay. Oh wow,
it was not Pat McAfee for once, but I cannot think of his name, but it doesn't matter. So Matt, let's go. Let's get our predictions real quick.
Oh man.
Oh, got to get you nailed down here, buddy.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right. Okay. All right. You want me to go first? Or you want to give yours first?
You go right ahead. I have no idea. I haven't even written mine down.
Well, I haven't thought about it either. All right. Okay. So I think if you pick Western, you're trying to be a homer.
Yeah.
I think in my opinion, it's just hard to pick against Liberty. If I'm trying to be fair and say, okay, this is what I really think is going to happen, I just think that Western has dug itself a hole. Maybe if Matheson comes back or something and everybody's healthy and we play a great game, you win. But I just think that there's some kind of funk going on, and maybe you got another game or two to get rid of it. And Liberty is probably not the team that you're going to rebound against like that. So I say, I think the Tops are going to maybe keep it close, but I think Liberty probably wins. I'm trying to think if it'd be high scoring or not, because their defense was awful last week. It's really a crapshoot, by the way, guys. Like, I mean, it could be like 52-49, or it could be like 17-14. I really don't know. So I'm going to say 41-31 Liberty.
Oh, wow. I wasn't ready for you to say it yet. Okay. 41-31.
You
I
weren't
will.
ready for me to say it?
No.
I just blindside you with my answer.
Yes. My prediction, I will go ahead and spit it out, is I'm going to say it is 35-21 Liberty.
Wow. Okay.
I hate to bet on Liberty, but if my streak continues of horrible bets, then Western wins. So
Yeah, buddy. Hey,
reverse
please make us
psychology
wrong.
on the universe. So I will say, one of our listeners just commented, "Can we talk about Taylor Swift? Football is so much better when she started playing." Yes, Taylor Swift makes football so much better. She will be at the game tomorrow night, so make sure you check that out. Or not tomorrow night, next Tuesday. So yes, Taylor Swift will be there. All the news agencies, get your choppers out, circle the thing. Yeah, Taylor Swift is going to go to the Liberty Western game next week.
I'm going to
And,
see her in person.
And whoever she's dating, I don't even remember his name off the top of my head. So.
Travis Kelce, bro.
God, I hate him. Shut up. Anyway, yes. So Western is going to be playing next week. That is the 24th at 7:30 at the Houch. So definitely check that out. And then, of course, I will post the other sports information up here as when they will be playing. Soccer is playing this Saturday, the 21st, in Liberty. I think that kickoff match, whatever, is at 5 p.m. And then they will be playing next week on the 28th at 6:30 against New Mexico State. So check them out. Volleyball, they'll be doing their thing and winning. So definitely support them if they're out. And I think I'm hitting everything. But we'll be back next Wednesday to talk what's going on with Liberty. And hopefully we'll be looking at the brighter side of Western athletics or at least football schedule. Maybe this is the week we get it turned around. I'm hoping
Let's
so.
go, man.
Yep, I'm hoping so.
Believe.
Being positive. Says the guy who just said Liberty was going to win by 10. I'm just saying.
Look, man, I gave my speech earlier. I just said, you know what? To have credibility, I'm going to be honest and say it probably won't happen. But that doesn't mean I'm not fired up. That doesn't mean I'm not going to go up and try to, raise some hell.
Take off your shirt and scream during the game.
Yeah, my wife won't be there. So, dude, she used to get so mad at me when I would, take my clothes off and dance right next to her and stuff.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for Matt to be like, "We're going streaking through the quad to the gymnasium."
There was this one game against FAU. It was a basketball game, and it goes to overtime. And I'd been good, right? I hadn't taken my shirt off. And I was like, you know what? Screw it, because she had told me, she was like, "Do not take your clothes off," and I was like, "Baby, it's overtime. I got to." It's FAU. We gotta beat FAU.
Yeah, if you don't, it's bad luck. What is wrong with you?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like when you play sports, you wear the same socks or whatever you will cling to for luck. You will do it. It does not matter what it is.
I mean, seriously, if you are able to shoot a free throw and not notice a 275-pound man rolling up his shirt looking like a bra and shaking his body at you, then you've got some incredible concentration. I'm just saying. So,
oh my God.
What? Try to make that free throw while I'm jiggling the greatness.
I will say, I don't know if you've seen the videos of some of the distractions that people have done during college basketball games, but the birthing a baby during a college basketball game was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Have you seen that one?
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah, you'll have to look it up. They the student section acted out like this guy was pregnant, and then they acted like this other student came out of the male student's body, and yeah, it's hilarious.
Oh man,
look it up on YouTube. It's hilarious. I may try and post a link to it or something later on. But definitely check back with us next week. We will be talking Western football, basketball, because Hilltopper Hysteria will be coming up. and we'll be updating that stuff too. So, and golf, soccer, all those other good newses we'll be talking about next week. So definitely stick with us, and we appreciate you listening this far. If you have, like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you want to. But we appreciate you guys sticking around this long. And as always, guys, go Tops.
Go Tops, beat Liberty Bibbity.
Beat the Liberty Bibbity Flame. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, boys.
Yeah, man. See ya.
See ya.